hotter and hotter, but good luck finding a time management system that makes any room for engaging productively with your fellow citizens, with current events, or with the fate of the environment. At the very least, you might have assumed there'd be a handful of productivity books that take seriously the stark facts about the shortness of life, instead of pretending that we can just ignore the subject. But you'd be wrong. So this book is an attempt to help redress the balance, to see if we can't discover, or recover, some ways of thinking about time that do justice to our real situation, to the outrageous brevity and shimmering possibilities of our 4,000 weeks. Life on the conveyor belt. In one sense, of course, nobody these days needs telling that there isn't enough time. We're obsessed with our overfilled inboxes and lengthening to-do lists, haunted by the guilty feeling that we ought to be getting more done, or different things done, or both. How could you be sure that people feel so busy? It's like the line about how to know whether someone's a vegan. Don't worry, they'll tell you. Surveys reliably show that we feel more pressed for time than ever before, yet in 2013, research by a team of Dutch academics raised the amusing possibility that such surveys may understate the scale of the busyness epidemic, because many people feel too busy to participate in surveys. Recently, as the gig economy has grown, busyness has been rebranded as hustle, relentless work not as a burden to be endured, but as an exhilarating lifestyle choice worth boasting about on social media. In reality, though, it's the same old problem pushed to an extreme. The pressure to fit ever-increasing quantities of activity into a stubbornly non-increasing quantity of daily time. And yet, busyness is really only the beginning. Many other complaints, when you stop to think about them, are essentially complaints about our limited time. Take the daily battle against online distraction and the alarming sense that our attention spans have shriveled to such a degree that even those of us who were bookworms as children now struggle to make it through a paragraph without experiencing the urge to reach for our phones. What makes this so troubling, in the end, is that it represents a failure to make the best use of a small supply of time. You'd feel less self-loathing about wasting a morning on Facebook if the supply of mornings were inexhaustible. Or perhaps your problem isn't being too busy, but insufficiently busy, languishing in a dull job, or not employed at all. That's still a situation made far more distressing by the shortness of life, because you're using up your limited time in a way you'd rather not. Even some of the very worst aspects of our era, like our viciously hyper-partisan politics and terrorists radicalized via YouTube videos, can be explained in a roundabout way by the same underlying facts concerning life's brevity. It's because our time and attention are so limited, and therefore valuable, that social media companies are incentivized to grab as much of them as they can by any means necessary, which is why they show users material guaranteed to drive them into a rage, instead of the more boring and accurate stuff. Then there are all those timeless human dilemmas like whom to marry, whether to have children, and what kind of work to pursue. If we had thousands of years in which to live, all those would be far less agonizing, too, since there'd be sufficient time to spend decades trying out each kind of possible existence. Meanwhile, no catalogue of our time-related troubles would be complete without mentioning that alarming phenomenon, familiar to anyone older than about 30, whereby time seems to speed up as you age, steadily accelerating until, to judge from the reports of people in their 70s and 80s, months begin to flash by in what feels like minutes. It's hard to imagine a crueler arrangement. Not only are our 4,000 weeks constantly running out, but the fewer of them we have left, the faster we seem to lose them. And if our relationship to our limited time has always been a difficult one, recent events have brought matters to a head. In 2020, in lockdown during the coronavirus pandemic, with our normal routines suspended, many people reported feeling that time was disintegrating completely, giving rise to the disorienting impression that their days were somehow simultaneously racing by and dragging on interminably. Time divided us, even more than it had before. For those with jobs and small children at home, there wasn't enough of it. For those furloughed or unemployed, there was too much. People found themselves working at strange hours, detached from the cycles of daytime and darkness, hunched over glowing laptops at home or risking their lives in hospitals and mail-order warehouses. And it felt as though the future had been put on hold, leaving many of us stuck, in the words of one psychiatrist, in a new kind of everlasting present, an anxious limbo of social...